Hello everybody, welcome back to SkySaga Alpha 4.5. We are here on the tutorial island and today we're going to be talking about Abyssium farming. So to farm Abyssium you're going to need to farm for these guys, which are the Mark of Honor. So the Mark of Honor like this drops out of captains in a dark world. Thanks to Daulken and his wiki for finding all of the information on these things. So the very best place that I have found to farm these guys out is in the Sky Citadel. So just quickly before we go over there and set up a farm, I just want to show you the stuff that I'm going to be bringing in to do this farm up. So I'm bringing in a whole lot of blocks, even more than the last couple of farms that we've done, and you'll see why when we get over there. And then all of the equipment that I would usually use to run through an adventure. Plus, not shown here, but I do have a pair of metal maces that I'm going to bring into the world with me as well for killing of all of the enemies that we're going to encounter. So, like the previous farm, this farm also gives off a whole bunch of other things, including recipes and different types of metal and lots of coins. But the main reason we're doing this one is going to be to get the Mark of Honor. So that's what I'm going to focus on in this tutorial. So I'm going to grab out my metal maces and we're going to head over to the Sky Citadel. I'll see you there. So here we are in the middle of the Sky Citadel. I've cleared out all of the enemies that were on the ground floor and I have barred up the doors and also barred up the exit up towards the top of the tower, which is something that you definitely want to do before you get started here on building all of these farms. Now, there are actually two different floor types and designs for down the bottom here. So there's this one here that has a big pad in the middle and then these kind of fences or windows, whatever you want to call those things, kind of around the edge. And then the second design is where these things are actually lined up from the doors out, pointing into the middle of the room, and the middle of the room is flat without anything in there. So, since I am in this world right now, I am going to show you where all the spawn locations are here, show you how to set up the farm in this one, and then what else you need to do to make this thing a little bit safer. And then once we've done that, we'll jump over to another one of these, see if we can get the different spawn to come up, and then I'll show you the spawn conditions there. The type of farming should be the same, basic thing for both types. No matter like what type you get, you're going to set up a farm, you're going to do some very similar things to get the farm going and get the farm safe. So I'm going to wait for Day to come back and then I'm going to show you where the spawn points are here, show you what you want to do to set up the farm on this lower level down here. So here we go, I have the farm set up. Now 4 enemies spawned in this lower area. 3 of them, in this particular setup, 3 of them spawn right in the doorway. So if you have a look over here, you'll see he spawns right in the doorway over here. This entrance over here doesn't actually have a doorway, but that is where the door would be, and the other guy spawns there. And then finally we have another guy over here who spawns right in the doorway of his little area. Now, for some inexplicable reason, this guy over here has not actually spawned in the doorway of his area. Now, I'm not sure what this is to do with. However, this side here did not have any of these kind of window shutter and wood pillar setups along the front. So, I'm not sure if it's something to do with that or not, but just be on the lookout. Every now and again, you might end up with this type of weird spawning condition where he actually spawns 1 block over in this little area here, rather than spawning in the center of his little area that where he's supposed to. Now, this farm is very, very far from complete. We've got the enemies trapped, that is fine, but right now we are trapped in here ourselves, and of course there are enemies everywhere above us, and it's going to take a very, very long time to try and actually sort this out so that we don't have people jumping down on top of us. And as you can see as I float around here, there are plenty of enemies up there and all of them are definitely going to look at attacking us at some point here. So it's very, very common using this farm to have enemies drop down from the top and take you on. So there's a couple of ways that you can fix this. So there's the easy way where you only take out these 4 guys. Now, because usually when we build a trap like this, what we want to do is dig ourselves a hole in the ground next to where this area is, just so that you can jump down and attack the feet of whatever enemy you're after. Now this is the way you do the beginners or the easy version of this farm. You literally just dig some tracks in the floor, go down one block, and make sure that that track runs past each of your 4 spawn cages. So you'd want something along the lines of attacking here, going out this way, and then attacking over here, going further around, and attacking here, and then continue on further to finally attack this guy. And then you would just dig a hole out through the wall, and that would complete that farm. So just as a bit of a quick demonstration of what I'd mean, so if we throw a torch down here, you would literally just run a hole down through the bottom here. You also want to guard yourself from other enemies that might spawn in this place by building up a bit of a barricade over top of this. So you want to go 2 high at least. So we're just going to build up 2 high here. And of course, this path here would continue on down over that way so that it takes out this knight and then snakes out over to the other 2. But just wanted to do this for demonstration purposes. And so then, yeah, you would build up a little blockade like this, and you'd just run around in here, and then you'd be able to come out to an area where you could quickly and easily attack the feet of any mobs that have spawned inside your trap. But this is just the basic farm design, so that's the very, very simple way of doing it. You can just dig your tunnel all the way along here, out and around all the way along here, and then all the way over to this end, and then to finish that off, all you would need to do is going back into this other tunnel over here. You would just dig out this wall and go 50 blocks in that direction, and you would be able to get a respawn. You just dig this tunnel out, and if you hit the air like I've just done here, all you want to do is place down some floor blocks. Just like so, and just keep going all the way out. And you might even need to build a roof over top of this thing to keep out the weather, but that is totally up to you. So this is the basic farm design. Like I said, the more advanced farm design actually takes a bit of a different approach to this. So in here we've only got 4 spawning spots. That means every single time we run out and run back, we've only got 4 chances of finding a captain spawned in all of our areas here, which is not a very good chance. And as you can see, even this round here, I've got 3 knights and 1 warrior. That's not going to do anything for me in terms of actually getting these marks that we're after. So the other idea here is to actually take on the entire tower and turn the entire tower into a farm. So what I'm going to do very quickly is I'm going to run up this tower, I'm going to wipe out everything in my way, and I'm going to build up some spawn cages and just show you some rough ideas of where other things spawn up and down this tower. So you can follow on with all of this stuff, and you can take on this entire tower and turn this entire tower into a farm as well, because that way you've got absolutely every spawn location in here covered, which means that anytime a single captain spawns in here, you're going to be able to kill that captain quickly and easily and take that mark. Okay, so I've put the full farm in place. However, some of these spawns can be a little bit tricky to hit, so some of these things I'm just going to kind of show you a rough area as to where the things spawn, and then you really need to build kind of a few small pens in around that area to be perfectly confident that you're going to hit all of the spawn points. Now, one thing I will say is this farm does get quite noisy with all of the warriors and knights and things just kind of constantly spotting you over and over again and just making lots of noise. So if you are farming in this fashion, it's probably a good idea to go out to your Windows sound system and turn down the sound of SkySaga and maybe put some music on or something, just because this is going to get quite irritating. So the very bottom level, you guys have already seen, so we've got the spawns in the doorways down here. If we head up to the first level up here, This Sky Peak Citadel is the one with an outside run. So there is nothing between the stairs up to the first level and the outside run. And then if we head out here, you'll see that two spawn near the corner on the balcony out here. And then, oh, got hit by a knight coming through there. And then we have one spawn, I'm pretty sure it's directly in this doorway, but it's best just to build up a little pattern like this just to make sure you absolutely do trap this spawn in here. Now, once you've got that spawn, once again, two more spawn around here. One more spawns here, over by the corner, kind of near this window that's over here. And then you get a final spawn in around over by this door, and in this case we've actually managed to trap a captain. So this is the thing, with having more spawning places captured, you'll always get a captain when you run up and down this thing. So that is almost all of this floor. So the final one on the first floor is in this corner here leading up the stairs to the second floor. Now if we run up the stairs to the second floor, once again, there is nothing in the whole main area. You need to block off these exits out to the tower points on either side, because I'm pretty sure there are enemies in there, but they're just not worth adding into your run round. Now if we keep going around here, the only two guys on this floor, this is the second floor, this is the floor just below the boss room, you'll find there are two knights or two spawn points up in here. So there's a balcony out of place, so this is the kind of 3-wide run around everything else, and then there's this kind of balcony out, and there'll be two knights spawned in this area here. So as you can see from this, it looks like doorways, corners, and balconies are really, really common spots for these things to spawn. So I've run a couple of these now, and it seems that the spawn points change a little bit from place to place depending on how many balconies spawn and how many doorways there are, and if you're running outside or you're staying inside and all this kind of stuff. So to kind of save on blocks, I would suggest, yeah, focusing on your outside corners, your doorways, and your balconies like this. Now, the final ones that you can trap are, of course, up in the boss room. So if I just jump up here, you will see that these guys are actually trapped out to the side of the warlord. So the warlord sits all the way back here in a little pen, kind of 3 out from the chest, and then the knights will be captured 1 pen out and 1 pen across in either direction, and you'll end up with 2 there. Now, if you kill these guys off, any knights or lower mobs that spawn, they will respawn. You don't actually need to kill the warlord if you don't want to, and I would suggest not doing it because it's kind of a waste of time unless you're after ores or keystone fragments, because warlords will drop some keystone fragments upon death. So that's it. This is where all of the spawn points are, at least for this world, and it's a kind of good indication for you as to where you can expect to find spawn points for these type of maps. So I'm now going to quickly jump out and see if I can find the other type of world where you actually have an exterior staircase up towards the boss location, and I will show you in there exactly where all the spawn points are. But in particular, I want to show you in that one where the 4 spawn points on the lower level are, because those are the important ones. Those are the ones that you can absolutely know for sure you're going to get 4 spawns every single time you run away and come back. So here we are in a different Sky Peak Citadel. So if I have a look from up on the stairs here, as you can see there is no platform in the middle of this Sky Peak Citadel, and there are no window shutters or anything like that either. Now what this actually means is that the spawn positions have moved, so rather than being directly in the doorway as they were last time, they are now actually further out. So if I have a jump up here, you can see that these guys are actually slightly further out. So they've got the 3 where the ones from last time spawned, and then there's the 3 where these ones spawn. Now, this is, of course, again with an exception. So this archer over here is actually spawned right on the edge of where I was expecting him to spawn in, and I have to keep moving around because, of course, the archer is attempting to shoot me this entire time. This is actually just a little bit more annoying than the other one because there is no clear indication as to which one that one is. But if you build out these pods that I've got here, one of them won't spawn correctly. Just add an extra layer out there and you should be able to deal with that pretty well. So for now, I'm actually going to kill this guy in here because he's starting to really, really annoy me. And once we've done that, I will move on and show you the rest of the tower because I've actually put in the spawn platforms for the rest of the tower as well. And yeah, he spawned in here, so this is 1, 2, 3 out, and then this is where the line should go to block off that area, and he was spawning right in this area. So yeah, like I said, just another little quirk of the spawn positions in all of these things. So if we head upstairs, this is actually the same upstairs as the last one, so the spawning areas are exactly the same. So if I head out here, we've got the corner on the first floor, 1 and 1, and then if I jump over here, we've got 1 in the doorway on the first floor, back into the area that doesn't go anywhere, and then we've got 1 against the window near this door. I run past this guy and don't get knocked off the tower. We've also then got 1 over here by the window that leads back into the tower again. So this guy here is definitely spawns in by the window and not over here by the door. And then of course at the very end of the first floor we have the one guy who guards the staircase up to the second floor as we did on the last one. So there he is in there. If I skirt past him and head up to the second floor, you see there's actually nothing going on up here. I've barred off these entrances again, just for the sake of convenience, and I did put some bars on this balcony here, but I didn't actually get any spawns. I've run up and down this thing a few times and killed everything out a few times, so as you can see, these spawns are a little bit random, and I'm just showing you the best of what I can find so far. And yeah, so that's the spawning places that did happen in the last one, but don't happen in this one. And then if we go up here, the final spawn locations are of course out in front of the Warlord, these 1, 2, 3 pods here. And if you build these on all Warlord portal rooms, you should be able to capture most of them. I think from memory, the build that has a doorway here and has the external entrance up to here, you're actually going to need an extra pod on the end out this way just to capture a few more out in here. But other than that, that is where all of these things spawn for this citadel. Now, the cool thing about doing all of the spawn locations in a single citadel is if you climb up and down the tower, killing absolutely everything that spawns, by the time you get to the top, the things on the bottom have respawned. So you just run back down to the bottom and then kill everything from the bottom all the way back up again, which means that you're kind of constantly removing bad guys and you're going to constantly get respawns, which means you have a higher chance of getting captains to spawn, which is of course what we need to get the marks that we are after. Okay, so that is it for today. That is how to control the spawn points inside a Sky Peak Citadel and to farm up some of that Abyssium. So next week we're going to talk about farming Crimsonite. I will see you then.